Morning, happy Monday. Today we are going to focus our stretching on our hips, chest opening, as well as some inner thighs. Sometimes we forget about the inner thighs and the effect that can have on our lower body strength and mobility at our hips. We will start standing. If you need to grab a towel or a belt, if you have a yoga belt, or you can use a regular dress belt. I also would suggest a book or a yoga block. We're going to begin with our feet directly beneath our hips. Our chest is nice and tall, pulling our shoulders down our back. Lengthen the neck as well as pulling in the chin slightly to create a nice alignment of the spine with the neck. We're going to inhale those shoulders up into a shrug position and exhale the shoulders down. Inhale those shoulders up, exhale those shoulders down. We're going to add a little bit of movement here in the beginning before our stretches because I imagine most of you have been seated at your computer working. Let's inhale our arms up into mountain. Reach the fingertips high, reaching nice and long out of the shoulders. Exhale the arms down as we slowly begin to fold forward. Keeping a softened knee, we're going to hang here just for a moment. When you're ready on your next inhale, we're going to inhale halfway up, pulling those shoulders away from our ears, and then exhale to the floor. Engage the thighs, pulling in the abdominals. Let's roll it up nice and slow, up into mountain, reaching to the ceiling. This time, maybe taking a little reach towards the back, not creating too much extension of the spine, and let's take those hands and arms down, flowing to the forward fold position. In forward fold, if you find that your posterior muscles are tight, allow more bend in the knee to give you some more reach towards the floor. We're going to drop the head and we're going to hang here. Begin to shake the head, no. I did the opposite. Go ahead and shake your head yes if you shook your head no first time. Just creating some movement through that neck in a non-weighted position. Big deep breath in. Exhale even further towards the floor, allowing that chest to sink towards your knees. Slowly begin to walk the hands over to the outside of that right foot. Setting back into that left heel. Opening up the outside of that left arm, as well as the left lat and upper back. Big breath in and exhale to the top. Going to release, walk those hands across and over to the right, opposite foot, which would be your left side. And then sink a little further back into that right hip and right heel, allowing that right side to open up in a stretch. And once you find your stretch, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and exhale the chest and the head into a forward collapse position. On your next inhalation, move back to center through your exhalation and hang. Go ahead and grab on to either side of the elbow. So right grabs the left, left grabs the right. And let's just hang here for a moment. Taking that nice big deep breath and exhale. Go ahead and let the hands come to the floor. On your next inhalation, I want you to begin traveling upward, rolling that spine up, pulling those abdominals in from the pelvis, letting the head be the last thing to rise. Create some movement through those shoulders by pulling those shoulders down and back, up and down and back. We're going to inhale the arms above the head. We're going to take the left hand, grab onto the right wrist. Let's go ahead and bring our feet together. And then we're going to reach to the left side. Squeezing the thighs nice and tight, creating a nice strong tree trunk. Let's take our gaze up to that right elbow. Feeling that nice long right side stretch. One more breath here. When you exhale, release the arms, bring them down to your side, and go ahead and float towards the floor into forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Nice, arms come above the head. Right hand grabs onto the left wrist. Walk the feet close together, squeeze the thighs, and reach to the right side of the room this time. And then slowly take your head or your gaze up to that left elbow. Nice breath in. Exhale, hands down to the side. Roll those shoulders back. Roll them forward. All right. We're going to set up for triangle pose. Well, in triangle, I believe. We're going to place our right foot out to the side. Your right foot and toes are pointing to the right. Your left heel is driving back to the back. Our back foot is slightly angled out. We're not facing the back of the room. Those toes are slightly facing the front or forward. We're going to drive the hips back. Make sure your legs are not too far apart because where we're going is to a fold. So you want to make sure that you're not going to have a knee strain. Send the hips back. Abdominals are in tight. Begin to lower to the shin of the right leg, or this is where your book or block may come in handy. Placing both hands upon that block, or if you can go to the floor, we're going to go to the floor. Keep your knees softened. If you feel but if you feel a pull behind the knee, you're going to soften it even more, or bring your stance to a more narrow stance. Our weight is shifting back in the hips, and we're collapsing our chest towards that front leg. Now, I want a deeper stretch, so I'm setting my block out in front of my foot, and I am dropping through this. Relax the head. Take 2 more deep breaths right into this position. Allowing those shoulders to melt towards your front leg. Last breath here. Bend that front knee if you did not have it bent already. Pulling those abdominals in, begin to roll yourself up and come to a standing position. Pivot your feet to the front of the room, so now they're facing forward. And let's walk them out a little bit wider. We're going to set up for wide forward fold or down wide facing dog. So let me turn to the side. Your hips begin to drop back. You have a flat back. Walk your hands out wide away from your feet. And again, sink back into those heels as well as sinking through the hips. Wide angled down dog. If it's too much of a strain on the knees or the back, you can bend the knees and sit back into the hips as well. I'm going to open my stance a little bit to make it a little wider. And I'm going to drop to my forearms closer to my feet. So this is where you can use your block as well. Having your block here to place your forearms on. Or maybe today you just want to hang. Choose what feels best for you and your body today. Should feel a nice stretch on the outside of the leg as well as the back. Maybe feeling a nice stretch in your high glute as well as your low back. One more breath here. As you exhale, begin to walk up onto the hands. Let's walk those feet together slightly. Pulling in those abdominals, begin to roll up to a standing position. Let's set up for triangle on the left side of the body. Left toes are facing forward. Right heel is facing the back of the room. Our right foot, the toes are going to be facing at an angle, almost like setting up for a warrior two position. Again, make sure that your distance between both feet is not too wide to where it's going to be a strain to come down and come forward. Again, your movement, pushing that weight back into the hips, back is flat. And again, you need your block or your book. Place it on the floor. Soften the left knee. Weight is driving back into those hips. Head is softened, shoulders are softened. Focusing on your breathing here. And a reminder, if you cannot come to the floor, you don't have books, you can always stay here on that shin with bent knees on both legs if you needed it. Last breath here. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. Bend that front leg even more. Pivot and turn the feet both facing the front. And we're going to walk our hands forward into wide facing dog or wide forward fold. Setting the weight in the heels of the feet so we're not up in the tiptoes or the ball of the foot. Lengthening through that back, through our lats, our upper back. We're going to walk the hands in under the shoulders. Walk the feet in slightly. We're going to drop to the bottom of the squat. If you cannot hold here in the bottom of the squat position, then I would rather you come down and sit on your knees. Lifting through that chest slightly. Hands come to the floor. Slowly transition to both knees. If you find that it's uncomfortable to be on your mat, directly on the knees, you can roll your mat a couple of times and then place your knees on that. That might be helpful. I'm going to set us up to where we're going. We're going to take our right leg. We're going to place it out directly in line with our hip. My right toes are facing the front. I turn at an angle so you can see. I'm going to drive my weight back in my hips again, and I'm going to reach my arms and hands out forward. So the stretch here is to, you should feel that along the inner thigh. We're going to walk up onto our hands, and we're going to pull our toes upright, facing the ceiling. We're going to slide that leg out just a little bit further. And now, without taking a seat, we're just hinging over. The block may be useful here. If you find this is too much, go slowly. Let's see if we can walk down towards the mat onto our forearms, keeping that foot flexed. You should feel this along the entire inner leg. Some may even feel it here. If you feel a strain in the knee, you're going to soften and bend that knee. Walk up to the hands and glide that leg in slowly, that foot in slowly. We're going to switch sides. We're going to set up our left foot. Toes are down, facing the front. If you have an ankle injury, I failed to mention this on the other side, a strained ankle, then I would want you to keep your foot off the floor the entire time. Do not try to place the foot flat and slide it out. Go ahead and slide that leg out. Where you feel a nice elongated stretch. And then let's walk our hands forward. Dropping through those hips. One more breath. And walk up onto the hands. Pull the toes towards the ceiling. You can guide it out anymore, glide it out. We're going to sit back in those hips, but we're not resting on that right calf. Make sure we're staying active in that stretch. Two more breaths right here. Walk up onto the hands. Bring that foot in slowly. And have a seat back on your heels of your feet. We're going to stretch the feet. So I want you to tuck your toes. Draw your inner thighs towards one another. Knees are squeezed together. Toes are tucked under. If you need to help the little guy, I want the pinky toe as well curled under. Sit upright. And then I want you to drop your weight back onto your heels without allowing your heels to open. So you can feel with your hands or your knee or your heels squeezing towards each other. If not, use your fingertips and guide them towards each other. It's really good for planters. It's really good for the toes. You should feel a nice stretch through the foot. One more breath here. Slowly rise up off of the feet. Flatten them out. And then have a seat down on top of the stairs. This stretch, this is going to be a quick little stretch. If you have knee concerns, meniscus, ligament damage, I wouldn't suggest that you do this one. I would stay seated right here and allow the tops of the feet to take this gentle stretch. If you do not have any concerns with the knee, any pain in the knee that you may not know of, then you can feel free to join me. Hands are going to reach back behind the body, squeezing the thighs together. Begin to lift your knees and legs off of the floor. So now we're rocked back on our feet, taking that gentle stretch on top of the foot, as well as a little bit of a shin stretch, if you can get high enough. One more breath, and slowly come up. Nice. Let's untuck our feet, have a seat on your bottom. We're going to take both legs out, sit up nice and tall. Again, a reminder for back of the knee pain or tightness, you want to keep a soft knee if you begin to feel any discomfort at the back of the knee on this stretch. If you have your book, Actually, I'm going to give you a couple options. Depends on your flexibility today. I'm going to show you where we're going, and then I'll show you how to set up with your block and your belt. So if you know where we're headed, we're going to set that right arm on top of our right leg, and I'm going to interlace my index finger around my big right toe. And then I'm going to reach my left arm up and over my body. I'm going to take my gaze up to that left elbow. So knowing that that's where we're headed, if you find that you cannot get there, you can use your book or your block and just set your forearm on that block, opening up the chest. If you do not want to raise the arm above the head, another idea would be to take kind of a slight bind, half bind, and get a nice chest opener right here. If you want to use your belt or your towel, you will wrap the belt or towel around your right foot, grab on wherever that length may be for you, and then perform and hold your stretch. Once you get there, I want you to take 3 nice deep breaths here. We are stretching the inner thighs yet again. We have a nice back stretch as well. It's a deep muscle here that we're stretching. Erector thrombus. Oh my goodness, I forgot it. I'll think of it in a minute. So into the deep flex of the spine. Okay, one more breath here. On your exhale, release those. We're going to take a slight pause in the middle just to stretch out the side that we were kinked up on. You can use your block, or you can just start to walk your hands forward. What I teach about pelvic tilt and pelvic neutral, it applies here. I want you to empty the pelvis towards the floor. So imagine that your pelvis is a bowl, or creates a slight bowl, and if we hold it and then tilt it forward, we're going to let it spill to the floor. Instead of rounding through our back and creating a scoop, we're tilting and spilling it out forward. Just take one breath here. Exhale and slowly begin to come to sit tall and seated. I can't talk today. All right, left hand, let's set up just the way I had you set up for the right, using your block, belt, or moving right into that stretch. Index finger around that big toe, and send that arm up above the head. Taking your gaze up to your head releases that neck a little bit. Some may find that it increases the tension. If it increases the tension, then take your chin down, looking at the floor. And then remember, your alternative would be to take a half bind here, opening up that chest nice and tall, or nice and wide. One more breath for me. As you exhale, come to seated position. Begin bending and creating movement in those legs. We're going to move right through the hip again. We're going to take our left leg back behind us. Our right leg is bent in front of us. Give a 90-degree angle with both knees preferably. Whatever's comfortable for your knee is how you will set up in this position. The quads that we are stretching and the hip we are stretching is the left. You're going to take your right hand, reach back behind you, push your pelvis forward so you rock up almost onto this leg. So we're opening up this left hip. You want to take a nice side reach, you can send that left arm overhead. The next progression, if you feel that you can go there, would be to lower down on that right forearm and continue reaching over your head. So now we're back on our right forearm, pushing open through our chest, driving our pelvis forward, opening up this left hip. One more breath here. Walk it up nice and slow. We're going to stay on this same hip. I want you to find yourself on your left knee, bringing that right foot in front of the body. And this is going to be difficult if you don't have a mirror or you're not familiar with your kinetic awareness. But I want you to look at your left hip. Make sure it's in line with your left knee, that it's not going forward and you're not sitting back in your left glute. Nice in line with each other. Set up nice and tall. Squeeze that left butt cheek fairly tight. When you do that, that pushes the pelvis forward. You should feel a nice stretch here. Take your left arm up, grab it with that right hand, and give me a little stretch. Go ahead and release the arms down. Still holding this stretch. Let's do 2 glides. Using our right knee, we're going to glide just slightly. Still keep this left glute engaged. One more glide. And release. Circle back down to your bottom. And now our right leg comes back behind us. Our right foot comes back behind us. Setting up for our stretch on this side. Push the pelvis forward. Back onto our left hand, which is back behind our body, out away from our body. Push forward, send that right arm above the head. And again, if you want to progress, you'll drop down onto that left forearm, which will intensify this hip stretch. Push that hip forward though. Do not sink back into that right hip or your stretch will turn off. Drive it forward. One more stretch, or one more breath here. And begin to roll up. Coming onto that lunging stretch on the right side. Coming on the right knee. So our right knee is here. Our front leg is our left. Engage that right glute. Push forward. When you feel like you have your balance, right arm up, left hand grabs the right arm and we reach. One more breath here. Arms come to the sides. Stay engaged in this glute. Left knee is going to glide us forward and back. One more. And release. Go ahead and come on down to your back. So slowly find yourself to your back. We're going to finish with my favorite torso twist. Begin to roll downward. Bring the knees into the chest. Send the left foot out, lengthening that left leg. Then we're going to take our right knee and pull it over to the left side of our body. Right arm goes out in a T position. We're going to have 3 breaths right here. We're going to release. That knee comes back to center. Bring that left knee to join. Both leg knees up. Create some space and movement there. Send the right leg to the mat. Take that left knee over to the right side of the body. Left arm is out in a T position. Release, roll back to center. Both feet stay on the floor. Give me a couple windshield wipers. I want you to close down your eyes. Send your legs out nice and long. Arms and hands rest beside the body. And I want you to take a couple moments here to really enjoy this moment of relaxation that you've worked so hard for. Begin to move the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees. Roll to one of your side, left or right, doesn't matter. We're going to slowly come up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's inhale those hands nice above our head. Hands come together. Hands to heart center. Thank you for showing up on your mat today, for blessing your body with a nice stretch. Have a great day. Thank you.